Welcome to the Grace Period, where we get real about attorney mental health and well-being and pull back the veil on the high-stakes world of big law. I'm your host, Emily Logan Stedman, a commercial litigator, partner, and someone who believes there's always room for a little more grace, even in a high-stakes profession. Here, I share real stories from my own journey in big law and invite you behind the scenes, beyond the billable hour, to talk about what it means to stay human, even in a demanding field. Whether you're a lawyer, a legal professional, or someone trying to find your footing, this space is for you. Let's pull back the curtain, start the conversation, and find our grace period together. Disclaimer, the views and opinions shared on this podcast are mine alone and do not necessarily reflect those of my firm or any organization. This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not legal advice, and listening does not create an attorney-client relationship. Welcome to episode 66 of The Grace Period. Today, I want to follow up on the past two episodes, 64 and 65, where I've been talking about the path to partnership. And on today's episode, I want to talk about the things you need to focus on and go all in on once you decide that you are going to pursue the path to partnership. So, the basics. Early in your career, you must focus on mastering the fundamentals. Research writing, client communication, due diligence, time management, those are the table stakes. And ultimately, what this comes down to as the next step is owning your files, owning your matters, and owning your career. But what does taking ownership actually mean? Most associates, including myself as an associate, have heard the phrase, "I want you to take ownership of this file," more times than we can count. But for me, no one ever actually set me down and told me what taking ownership meant. So I'm going to try to define it for you today. As a new or younger attorney, as an associate on the path to partnership, there's an expectation that you'll go beyond just checking boxes and completing discrete assignments. Partners and senior associates want to see you engage deeply with the entire matter you're staffed on. This means finding and reviewing key documents, developing a comprehensive understanding of the issues, the evidence, the timeline, the legal theories, the case law, the strategic objectives. It means keeping track of deadlines and action items, and even more. It's a very high level of immersion and personal investment in the file. And that's what partners mean when they instruct you to take ownership. It signals a proactive approach and commitment to the file, to that partner, and to the client. At its core, taking ownership is about having situational awareness and context that extends beyond the discrete assignments you're given. It means proactively learning the backgrounds of the parties involved. It means studying key documents and evidence. It means internalizing important dates and deadlines and fully grasping the theories and strategy that are driving the case forward. This is what I call a 360-degree view of the case. It's a fluency of the matter as if it were your own file, as if it were your own client. This will require asking questions. You cannot ask enough questions as an associate. In fact, common feedback to newer attorneys from supervising attorneys is often that you should ask more questions up front and along the way. Why? This prevents you from turning in an assignment with questions outstanding, and it prevents you from having to make updates and revisions when the deadline is looming and there's a much tighter turnaround. Now, if the assigning attorney isn't receptive to questions, and there are those people out there, ask the senior associate on the file. Ask an associate paralegal or assistant who has worked with this partner in the past. 9 times out of 10, there will be someone out there who will help you. Taking ownership in this way allows you to provide more value beyond just being an extra set of eyes, hands, and ears. When you understand the goals and the overarching strategy, you get to start applying your judgment. You get to start applying analysis. And that's ultimately what we all went to law school to do. And that's what we learned to do in law school, was make legal judgments and apply legal analysis. The more you take ownership over the case, the more you will get to do that. The more you take ownership of the case, the more substantive opportunities you will get. Why? Because it builds trust. If an attorney or a supervising attorney or partner cannot trust you with the small things like deadlines, they're not going to trust you with bigger matters, with more glamorous and shiny matters. So in the beginning, don't think twice about any assignment and taking it, because it's a learning opportunity and it's an opportunity to show ownership in a way that impresses a partner and gets you more work and substantive opportunities down the line. Taking ownership means displaying strategic depth and organizational intelligence. That's what firms need, and that's what will be required of you as you rise through the ranks. Taking ownership also signals a clear commitment to client service, which is something all firms say they have and something that all firms expect. Taking ownership in this way exemplifies the type of work ethic and perspective that partners look for when they promote associates and when they invite you to join partnership. So if you decide you want to be on the partnership path, congratulations. That's a good goal. It's a worthy endeavor. And to do that and to do it successfully, you must deeply own your files and matters and build trust with your supervising attorneys so you gain confidence and substantive skills as you move through the ranks. Thank you for joining me on this episode of The Grace Period. Remember, you don't have to choose between your well-being and your ambition. By setting boundaries, building supportive habits, and giving yourself permission to pause, you can thrive in law and in life. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. That is the path to our grace period. Disclaimer, the views expressed here are solely my own and do not represent the official policy or position of my firm or any organization. This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not professional or legal advice. Listening does not create an attorney-client relationship.